Welcome to the Power of Percussion podcast. My name is Yeshima, and it is our mission to share stories that explore the many facets of how percussion and rhythm can be used to heal the body and spirit. On our 20th episode, we have today John Yost from Chicago, Illinois. Hello, John.
Hello, thanks for having me, Yeshima. I feel so honored to be number 20.
Yeah, 20.
Woo!
It's a magic number. It's the year 2021, so there you go. All right. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, the middle of nine kids.
Whoa.
And my dad wanted to have a band, and so he wanted me to play tuba, but I weighed less than a tuba. So I ended up playing French horn for a little while, which met an unlikely demise on a staircase.
Oh my goodness.
So because I had to play an instrument, everybody had to play an instrument and or do ballet or some type of dance. I chose drums.
Woo.
And after playing in the concert band for a while, I started to play rock and roll and in rock bands and jazz bands and all kinds of different musical situations. I ended up getting a degree in percussion in college. I got a job teaching recreational music for the Chicago Park District.
Nice.
And I was teaching all kinds of instruments, piano, guitar, drums, whatever people had, I would teach. And one day I happened upon a drum jam on the shores of Lake Michigan. 3 hours later, I was hooked. The girl I was with said, "Let's go, let's go." I looked at her and I said, "It's been 10 minutes." She said, "It's been 3 hours." And I knew there was a really powerful experience had happened, and I was in the flow state and I wanted a lot more of that. So I started calling my drum students and my friends to come jam, and I put an ad in a local paper, and a woman came, and at the end of this drum jam she said, "Wow, that was a great drum circle." And I said, "Wow, that's a great name for this." She said, "Yeah, haven't you been to a Grateful Dead parking lot?" And I said, "No." I was kind of into a lot of progressive rock and that kind of stuff. And she told me she had a drum circle and invited me, and I went to that one. And a few weeks later, her drum circle was mine. She kind of disappeared and left me the drum circle. And I ended up running it. A few months later, she had called me back and said there was this gentleman coming through on a little tour. He was going from Guitar Center to Guitar Center, and he wanted to do another program. So we found a place and hosted this drum circle with this man named Arthur Hull. And after 2 hours of making incredible music, I was tasked with giving him a ride to the airport. And on the ride to the airport, I had him cornered. And I said, "How do I get to do what you do?" He said, "Oh, I'm going to have this training in Hawaii, and call my office." So the next day I called his office, and they said, "Oh, we don't know anything about that." A few months later, his office called me back, said, "We're going to be doing this training." I said, "Tell me where to send the check." And off I went to Hawaii to do Arthur Hull's very first Village Music Circle training. And I've been facilitating rhythm-based events ever since.
Oh, that's amazing. What year was that?
I don't know.
So
It's
long
been
ago.
probably about 25-ish years, somewhere around there. Arthur might know.
That is awesome. Yes. Yeah, the training in Hawaii is a life-changing experience. I know for me, when I went, my whole life shifted. It just was like a complete new world. So tell me how that was for you. The very first one with Arthur Hull. Was that a life changing? I mean, was that life changing for you?
Oh my God. Yes, it was incredible. There were so many of the top people from that era, and that era shapes this era. So Kalani was there, and Sule Greg Wilson, and Warren, who opened the Drum Cafe in South Africa, Happy Shell, who started Drums Not Guns. Who else? Kim Atkinson, Cameron Tummel was one of the co-trainers, and Don Davidson was also part of that training, a trainer. And I learned as much from them as I did from Arthur, as well as all the other people who were at the training. And it was the very first VMC training, so it was very new, and everybody was excited, and it was just an amazing, transformative experience.
Yeah, so tell me why you're so passionate about this. I mean, because I can tell by talking to you that your energy speaks passion for this. Why are you so passionate about this?
Well, I think number one, it makes me feel good when I play drums. It's accessible for most everybody, and it's just a great way for me to connect with myself, and it's been helpful for me to connect with other people as well.
Yeah. So when you connect with other people in this way, like holding a rhythmic event or a drum circle, have you seen people in the circle like change or experience this in a way that they come up to you afterwards and are just like interested in it? What kind of experiences have happened as a result of some of your circles?
There's so many. I've been doing this for 25 years. When I started doing my weekly drum circle, it was weekly. And I did that for about 14 years, once a week. I met my wife at that drum circle.
Oh,
And
amazing!
many of my friends have also met their partners there. I've seen people, I've seen it change their lives in so many different ways. Whether they chose to become drum circle facilitators like Jenny Swerdlow, or um, just open them up to find other ways to express themselves.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so who knew that you could find your future life partner at a drumming event or a rhythmic event?
Well, that's the other thing that is so curious if you ask people why they're coming. So everybody has their own reason for coming to a drum circle. Some people are coming because they're, really passionate about drumming, or, they've been drummers their whole lives and they just want to shred, right? And other people may come for many other reasons, to connect with their community, or to even find a date, or who knows. There's so many reasons why they could be coming. Unless we ask them, we can only hallucinate as to why they're there.
True story. Yeah. So you have experience with all types of world drumming, from Africa to Japanese drumming to whatever. Like, can you speak to that, and like how has that informed your practice?
Yes, I can speak to the path, the drummer's path. It's really about the muse. So I first saw djembe. So Stuart Copeland is the drummer, or was the drummer, from the Police, the rock band The Police. He had a tour where he had put together a whole bunch of world music groups and toured that. It was called Stuart Copeland and the Rhythmatists. That show, I saw djembe for the first time. They had Le Percussion du Guinée on that show as one of the groups on the show. And when I saw the djembe, I knew I was blown away. I was first row. I could hear the bass, I could hear the tone, I could hear the slap. They played with such precision, power, and beauty. I just knew I wanted one of those. So I was teaching in a music store at the time, And they didn't have any djembes, but they had a doumbek. So I bought a doumbek and tried to learn as much as I could about doumbek because I couldn't really find a djembe. Eventually, I found a djembe and I found a Senegalese West African master drummer teacher at about this same time. Then I found the drum circles, and I went to Arthur's camp in Hawaii. That's where I first saw Taiko. Well, I had been doing martial arts in my younger years as a kid. I broke my neck, so I couldn't do any more contact sports. But when I saw Taiko at the Hawaii Play Shop camp, it was two of those worlds combining, the martial arts movements with the power of the drum. So that really attracted me. And the first gig when I got home from Hawaii, it was, I think the first play shop was in October. In November, somebody invited me to facilitate a drum circle for free outside in November on the lake in Chicago. And I told this person, said, look, I will come and I'll bring gear, but if it's cold, I'm not going to promise to even get out of my car. I'm telling you that. I don't want to be drumming out in the cold for a free gig. And when I pulled up, the very first person unloading was this woman with a taiko. And I walked up to her. I said, that's Taiko. She says, yes. I said, you have to teach me. She says, oh, no, So I kept on her. I said, oh, I'm having my class tomorrow. Can you come to my class? So she came to my Dun Dun and Djembe class. And then I said, I'm having a drum circle on this day. Can you come to that? So she came to that. Every time, when are you going to teach me? She said, oh, no. So finally, she agreed to let me watch some videos. And then I said, okay, well, when am I going to get my first lesson? She said, okay. So about a year from that day, we were both on Sado Island getting lessons from Kodo, the most premier drum taiko group,
Yeah.
And it was one of those things of the universe. You take a step toward it and the universe takes two steps toward you. And the crazy thing is she was transitioning from one career to a next career and in school, so she had no money, but she won the plane tickets. And I had this job, so I could pay for things once we got there. I said, you give me a ticket, I'll pay for the other things.
Oh,
and a year after that, I was in Guinea, West Africa, studying djembe with Michael Marcus and a host of other West African drummers. Mainly, it was, at that time, that was Mbemba Bangura's camp. So it was Michael Marcus and Mbemba Bangura. And then went back to Japan, went back to Guinea, went back to probably Hawaii at that point, and just kept going back and forth, trying to learn all I could about those different styles.
Yeah. And do you use those in any of your drum circles?
Yeah, I use it. It's all becomes one thing as in a drum circle to me. Of course, I'm informed by everything that I've studied with, and then I try to just forget all that and be in the moment. So I play what I feel, and that could come from anywhere.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So when you hear the words power of percussion, what does that make you think of or feel?
Number one, the Big Bang. That's the first thing that comes to mind. The fact that all matter is made of moving molecules and rhythm is really the fabric of the universe. Another thing that comes to mind is the rhythm of the heartbeat. And that's the beat of humanity. Aside from the voice, it's the first instrument. Percussion had to be the first, besides the voice, whether it was hand clapping or two sticks or two rocks or what have you. That's percussion. And the power, everything comes from from the beat.
Yeah, that rhythm, it's that internal rhythm that we all have, you know, the rhythm of the seasons, the rhythm of the moon. It's innate in all of us. So what would you say to somebody that you know they want to do this thing, um, but they say to themselves, "I don't have any rhythm." Have you heard that phrase before? I don't have rhythm. I'd like to do it, but I don't have rhythm.
Many times, the first thing I say is, do you have a heartbeat? Are you breathing? Can you walk? Can you walk and talk and chew gum? Rhythm is innate. We have to have rhythm to be able to walk. We all have rhythm when we speak. If you can speak a language, that has to be rhythmic, or other people wouldn't understand your words. So everybody does have rhythm. Can they get it out through their hands? That might be a different challenge.
Yeah, it's a skill. It's a practice thing. We walk so naturally because we've practiced walking for a long, long time.
Well, also the brain makes it automatic. It the brain, you do it a few times and it just gets programmed in there. We just have to be very careful about what we program.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah. So tell me this: how has percussion made your life or somebody else's life better?
Well, it's definitely been for my life, it's been a vehicle for connection to myself, and a vehicle for me to connect with others all over the world. So it's really benefited my life in so many ways. I already told you I met my wife at my community drum circle. And some days, I don't know if she feels that's her benefit, but that's only some days.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I want to hear more of that story at another time. Yeah, about how you all met and like what was that spark? What was that moment? Do you remember that by the way? Like,
It's a very, very long story.
okay.
The whole story. It's very long and very magical. But I can say the temperature dropped from probably 85 degrees Fahrenheit to about 55 degrees Fahrenheit. She had rode her bike to the drum circle. A group of us went out after, and that's when the temperature really dropped. So after we had went out, it got really cold, and I gave her a ride home. And in giving her a ride home, she looked in the back. I said, "Oh, you see that?" And she says, "Yeah, the drum was floor to ceiling. The van was floor to ceiling drums." I said, "Oh, that's my family. Those are my kids." And she said, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I understand." So then in the drive, I just said, "Why are you here?" She said, "Why am I in this country?" I said, "No. Why are you on this earth?" And she said, "Oh, I think I have this gift of touch." She's a massage therapist, by the way. I don't know why I ever asked that question, but that did kind of send chills. Uh, it made my hair stand on end. I remember that feeling.
Yeah.
And I was getting that warning, Will Robinson, danger, warning, because I met somebody who knew why they were here,
Yeah. Oh, that is
much like
magical.
I know why I'm here.
Magical. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Ah, okay. So do you have, out of all of that family that you just talked about, of your drums, your gear, do you have, and I know it's not like, you're not going to be able to pick just one that is your most favorite, but one that speaks to you maybe a little more than others, and if it's in a different situation, can you speak to that?
Well, I would say they're all my favorites,
Yeah.
like my
Good
children.
answer. Good answer.
And I would also say the right tool for the right job. Each instrument is unique because, like people, they have personalities. When you form a relationship with those personalities, you see more of their character and their beauty and their uniqueness. That being said, I use a lot of Remo drums for my interactive programs because they make the right tools for those applications.
Mm-hmm.
They're very durable, they're easy to sanitize, and they're portable. I also use traditional instruments, traditional djembes when I'm playing with my traditional djembe group and teaching the tradition, and traditional taiko when I'm playing with my taiko group, and when I'm teaching that tradition as well, because they're intertwined. eh, They're definitely intertwined. But I've also used, Remo taiko on plenty of gigs. It might start raining, and I'm so happy
Yeah.
when I have these drums because I'm comfortable playing them and not worried that they'll get ruined. My $3,000 taiko drum, I have to put that away when the rain starts falling. But the
Absolutely.
Remos, I can keep going and, dry them off at the end and feel good about being able to finish that gig and have some fun doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, talking about fun, I saw you at PASIC and you were having a blast facilitating and just, enjoying the moment with all the participants. What are some of your memorable moments? And I know you have many, like thousands probably, but are
Oh,
there any that stand out to you that were just like, whoa, like it just, you could feel it all through your body?
yeah. Well, I've been drumming for probably 44 years. There's a few moments. I would say at PASIC, I had some really incredible moments. There's a group called I think they're the Louisville Leopards, right?
Yeah, the Louisville
Yes.
Leopards.
So you probably know the Leopards.
I do, yes. I just visited them last week, so they're an
Fantastic.
amazing group.
Yes. So the Leopards were at that closing drum circle that we have on the last day, and I had them. They were in that serpentine lobby. I think you were at that closing drum circle with the escalator that's going up and down. And I had the Leopards doing a conga line, kind conga esque line, while the drum circle was rolling, go playing, everybody playing up. I led them up and down those escalators while we were playing. We had a blast. It
Oh, that's
was
awesome.
such a fun, magical moment. It's something I've had adult people come up to me after that now, like
Yeah.
last year or the year before, and explain that they were leopards and they, just remember that so vividly. And it was one of a great sharing moment they had with their friends. Another moment I'd share is I was doing a program for a bereaved children's camp, and the kids at this camp had lost someone in their family. Most had lost a parent, but it wasn't limited to that. After this program, a child came up to me crying, and what he said was that it was the first time he had actually been able to play since the death of both of his parents.
Oh, wow.
And what he meant was it was the first time he was in the moment and not in his head. It's a brief reprieve from the overwhelming feelings and preoccupation of his really, really deep loss. So it was it was moving for me be, because when I'm going into these situations, I never know what people will take and what they will get out of it. Of course, I always hope that they will find that blissful place, but I can't always make that happen every single time for every single person. And all I can do is hallucinate what they felt unless they actually tell me.
Yeah. It is, it's true. You don't know how people receive it unless they come up to you and express themselves afterwards. Um, yeah, well, thank you for sharing that because those are two totally different ways that people experience. There's many others. Those are drastically opposites. So, yeah. So did you ever think, like in this process of facilitating drum circles that you would, be of help to another person?
Well, when I first started teaching drum set at age 17, I knew I could help people learn to play drums, but I didn't know how transformative people could use the universal language of music to connect. So I really feel like this language of music is pure and it allows people to communicate without the baggage of words, and they can communicate in pure spirit, more of a heart to heart and a soul to soul communication than we can do by using our voice. Our words.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like it breaks down barriers? Like
Absolutely.
socioeconomic or race or gender or any types of barriers?
Absolutely. It breaks down all barriers because when I'm playing with, I've done this around the world. I
Hmm.
and once we start playing, it doesn't really matter what language I speak. We're speaking the language of rhythm, and we're sharing this experience. It's just so pure and so easy to do that. It leaves space for other people to share in the moment together. It's one of the most powerful things that I know works.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I could not agree more with you. Um, is if somebody's looking for your services, I know you own Rhythm Revolution. Can you speak to that and how they can find you and what your services are?
Sure. To find me, they can go to my website, drummingcircle.com, www.drummingcircle.com, or they can find me on Facebook, John Yost, Rhythm Revolution. They can find me, they can email me directly, drumevents@gmail.com, or call me on the phone, 773-802-0605. And as far as services, I'm here to serve. It really depends on what clients are looking for. I do a lot of different things, whether that's performances. My wife and I do gong and bowl immersions. As far as drum circle programs, I've been in every kind of situation you can imagine, and many I never imagined I would be in. So I've serviced almost every kind of clientele, from funerals, baptisms, weddings, obviously, the bereavement camps, community drum circles, Fortune 100 companies, self empowerment groups. It just goes on and on and on. Lots of festivals. I love doing festivals, those are the fun ones.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm sure that they will be able to get in touch with you in all those ways. And that's a wealth of a spread of different ways that this rhythm can serve people, which is awesome. That's amazing. I never knew that somebody could do that at a funeral.
Sure,
Yeah, wow.
if they ask for it, you say yes.
Yeah.
And then you try to dig a little deeper. And I've done them where I knew the person, and I've done them where I didn't know the person. So, really asking the right questions before you start, and then leaving space for people to have the experience they need to have, whatever that experience is, and being open to being able to accommodate that and just let it flow and hold that container.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the listeners?
I'd like to say share your spirit, just like what you're doing, and maybe you agree. When you take a step toward toward your passion and your dreams, the universe takes two steps toward you. So be brave and dream big.
Oh, oh, that's beautiful. I felt that in my heart. Thank you, John. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for sharing your spirit with us and being on the podcast. Everyone, take and go to Rhythm Revolution, drummingcircles.com. Find John Yost in all the social medias and reach out if you have any questions. He is available for you. All right. Thank you so much, John, for being on.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and keep doing this. This is an awesome vehicle.
Thank you.